Hey gear seekers, I'm Nick. You guys have been asking to see way more white PC builds on the channel, so that's exactly what I decided to do today. Give you guys exactly what you wanted. However, this build is sponsored by Mwave and Intel, and if you want to see how this build came together, stick around. As usual with builds on the channel, we build with parts that we have on hand. We don't go out and buy parts specifically for this build. However, we did get this motherboard specifically for this build because it's one of the only ones with white accents we could find to give you guys exactly what you wanted. So I'm gonna stop talking and we're gonna start building. Let's build. Alrighty, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this special build in the Corsair 5000D Airflow. You guys have probably noticed lately that I've been building more and more with this case in both black and white. I really like these cases. The 5000D is awesome, so I'm just going to keep building in them because they're really easy to build in. I can fit lots of stuff in them, and you guys love to see us do different stuff with it, so that's exactly what we did here. But let's actually chat about all the parts in this PC so you guys can get an idea of what we used. The CPU is the Intel Core i9 11900K. We put the 11900K on the Asus Z590 Prime A. To cool the 11900K, we used the Deepcool Castle 360EX in white. For memory, we use 32 gigs of Team Group Extreme ARGB, the white edition of that RAM, at 3600 MHz. The GPU is the Asus ROG Strix RTX 3080 white edition. It's also the OC version of the card too. For fans, we went with 7 of the Lian Li Unifans, the SL120s in white. And all the RGB is controlled through the motherboard for this build. I didn't put any other types of controllers. I went directly through the board, and I actually used another RGB hub that uses the same type of RGB connector that the Unifans use that plugs straight into the motherboard. It's one by Deepcool. It actually comes with some Deepcool fans. You might not be able to buy that hub straight off the shelf, but because I had it, I decided to use it because it just made configuring the lighting easy and I didn't have to think about it. The cable extensions I went with are the Cooler Master cable extensions. Obviously they're the white ones and they suited this build well, so that's why we went with white ones. And obviously, as I already mentioned, the case is the Corsair 5000D Airflow in white. And if you've seen our review, or if you haven't seen our review, you can check that out in the top right hand corner right now, and yeah, it's a good case. I really like it, easy to build in. The configuration with the way I've got the basement set up in this is actually different to the way that we've done our previous 5000D builds. Now, I'll just circle back to lighting as I mentioned before. Everything's done in Armoury Crate or AuraSync or whatever you guys want to call it these days. Nice and easy to configure. I didn't use any specialized controllers or anything. We always get questions about the RGB strips that we use in the bottom of our Corsair cases like that. It's just a random RGB strip. It's nothing fancy. Any RGB strip that will physically fit in that hole will work. There's no brand or anything. I don't even know which one this is, to be honest. It's just another one that we had laying around from an old build from like 2 years ago. So I don't know where it came from. I don't know what it's for, but it works. One thing that would have really set this off for me personally is if Deepcool did this AIO with white tubes. That would look actually pretty sick. Everything would have had the same color scheme, but actually I think the black breaks it up a little bit just so it's not too white. But if I had another white AIO with white tubes, I probably should have used that, but I don't, which is unfortunate, but that's just the way it goes. Another thing I thought I'd mention as well is with the GPU, I decided not to use a GPU support bracket considering this build's not going to be together for too long, so it's not really going to be a sagging issue. So I was just like, let's just not use it. Let's make it look as clean as possible. Yeah, science, gravity. I guess it's time to talk about the 11th gen CPUs. Now, they're not everybody's cup of tea, but they do have a couple features that make them interesting to me personally, and the main one being PCIe Gen 4. And I know that people are going to take this the wrong way and be like, hey, he's being an Intel shill or whatever, but the reality is Intel actually came to the party and gave us a feature that we actually wanted. And PCIe Gen 4 for me personally, especially with the M.2 drive that we use in this system and for storage, and also these new GPUs are all PCIe Gen 4 as well, I think PCIe Gen 4 is a must-have, and it's nice that with these 11th gen CPUs and a Z590 motherboard, you can actually put them together and get that functionality. And that for me is actually the best thing about 11th gen CPUs. If you're interested in grabbing one of these 11th gen CPUs, they're available at Mwave. I'll chuck links down in the description down below for you Aussies out there. Mwave is Australia's biggest PC hardware retailer in the country. And yeah, special thanks to them and Intel for sponsoring this video. And if you like the music you heard here, I make all the music. It's available on Patreon. If you want to get early access to videos like this one, we're over on Floatplane. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek. And I'm really digging doing these white PCs, Claire. What do you reckon? I'm gonna do heaps more. We've got a stack of like other white cases coming. We've got some white versions of cases that we've covered that you guys have requested that is coming really soon too. So we're gonna just do like all of the white builds. That's what you guys wanna see. We're gonna give you exactly what you want. Thanks for watching.